blessed to be with you. As always, we love your feedback. We thrive on it here at KIDO Talk Radio. Don't forget the KIDO Talk Radio app, where you can take us anywhere. We hope to earn that valuable real estate on your phone, your tablet, your smart device, even your car, in addition to 107.5 FM and 580 AM. Joining us now from foramerica.org, he's a conservative, he's a hipster, he's a great guy, David Bozell. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. 99 degrees, man. That's almost as hot as Twitter right now. That's got to get that temperature down, guys.
Well, it's global warming, and we're hoping that the Green New Deal or the New Green Deal or green eggs and ham will help us out.
Yes. If we all just turn to AOC and let her solve all of our issues, we'd be much better off, right? Right. Well, she's got it all figured out.
Speaking of which, David Bozell, let's take a look at the current situation involving guns in America. Universal background checks will save us. Red flag laws will save us. The president endorsing this. And then the NRA says, not so fast, my friend. What's going on inside the Beltway? Will Mitch McConnell bring back our beloved senators? Your thoughts, sir?
No, he will not. Number one, he broke his shoulder, so he's not going to be seen for quite some time. Number two, these 6 week-long August recesses are very precious to these guys. They do not like canceling their 6-week-long vacation. They've got international travel booked. They've got vacations booked. They've got fundraising booked. They're all scattered all over the world. There's zero chance he brings back the Senate. And frankly, the Democrats can kind of have a press conference here or there, or whine and moan about it. But as a body, as a senatorial body, this is the type of schedule that they prefer, which is, fairly kind of a lazy one. Not that I'm advocating they come back to do anything about this, because I just don't think that there's a constitutional solution that they know of. Nor do I trust this Congress to determine who should get red flagged or who should not. But no, these guys prefer these long breaks in August, and there's just no political crisis that's going to get them back.
What do you make of the president's move, though, to say red flag laws nationally, getting a lot of pushback from his base, a lot of pushback from gun owners, and Wayne LaPierre, head of the NRA, calling him yesterday and saying, you might want to rethink this. And, of course, we'd love your review and comments on the ever-objective media reports covering this.
It's kind of catnip for the press. These shooters obviously, passed background checks, to get these weapons, and fairly strong ones at that. So, and not to mention that the El Paso shooter's mother called the cops a month ahead of time and said that her son had gotten an AK-47, but I don't think that he knows how to use it, and he may use it improperly, and I'm nervous for him and anybody else. And look, in our system of constitutional government, everyone's got rights to privacy, and frankly, as a whole, the country is not willing to give that up. Nor should it, because law-abiding citizens, you're just going to have a very, very difficult time trying to pry guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. It's just not going to happen. And so I think Mr. LaPierre is correct to voice his opposition. That's his job. I know what the NRA's position is, which is if you give a little, if you give an inch, they'll want to take it a mile. And it's a slippery slope. So, can more investments be made in mental health programs and those types of things? Perhaps. There was 4 people were brutally stabbed to death in Southern California last night. So it ain't the tool, that conducts these things. It's the people. It's the mentally unstable. So There's no root cause, one cause to rule them all. It's a lot of, it's social media, it's entertainment, all these things combined. It's kids not feeling any sort of self-worth, Kevin. There's just an entire generation of kids who just cannot seem to find their place in the world, and frankly it's been drilled in them to not take personal responsibility either. That the government will figure it all out for them, and they snap. So
right.
It's
well, David Bozell joining us, ForAmerica.org, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Not to get too touchy-feely, but let's talk about this lost generation. So many people, ages 23 to 38, the millennials, feeling they don't have friends. They're alone. They can communicate rapidly on a text, but they can't hold a conversation. They have these violent video games. They seem very despondent. Some are on medication. How do we save them? Is it possible to bring them back?
Well, I think multiple industries have to look at themselves in the mirror. I mean, we just tweeted out on our For America Twitter account a snippet of a movie preview called The Hunt. It's a new movie coming out, and it's about liberal elites gunning down conservatives, red state conservatives for sport. Starring a two-time Academy Award winner, by the way. It's not some B-rated horror flick. It's Hilary Swank's in this thing, two-time Academy Award winner, and she plays this liberal elitist who develops this quote-unquote game of kidnapping red state citizens and just gunning them down in cold blood. I don't know where the market is for something like that. Unless liberal Hollywood says, look, this is the temperature that we see on Twitter, therefore let's make a movie about it. Because there's a lot of invective in that type, this nasty wishing of people's deaths on Twitter. And perhaps somebody in the marketing department in some studio said, let's make a movie about it. But that kind of thing needs to be pulled from the shelf. Video games, Look, I understand the video game industry will say, well, there's no scientific evidence. I'm not even sure how you could measure it. But boy, oh boy, I mean, these things are as gruesome as ever, and they're interactive, right? These kids are on these internet channels talking as they're playing in real time, talking about gunning people down as they're gunning people down in real time in video games. Some kids are going to just say to themselves, I can do that for real. And how cool would it be if I did it for real? And I think there's been quite a bit of that. So parents need to take personal responsibility. Are you going to have that in your home? Why don't you teach your son to use a gun before he goes and does it digitally, and figures out that he doesn't know how to use it?
Well,
he doesn't have a respect for life.
Right, and again, David Bozell joining us, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. This is a danger that threatens all of us. David, whether you're an activist, you've been raised in the media, the whole talk radio thing, shock jocks and stuff, we get a bad rap. Sean Hannity doesn't say bad words on the air. Glenn Beck doesn't. Lars Larson doesn't. And yet, those crazy conservatives. On the other hand, are you shocked at the reaction, the profanity from Beto, from all these other folks where they're swearing, calling the president a white nationalist, a racist, Kamala Harris, all these folks? Look, it's one thing to disagree. It's one thing to be caught in the moment, but to be F-bombing people, what is the purpose of that?
Well, I'm not surprised by Beto because he has a history of F-bombing a lot of things. That's just kind of his dialect. Elizabeth Warren joined Beto yesterday and calling there's a difference between calling somebody a white nationalist and calling somebody a white supremacist. I mean, by definition, you're accusing the president of preferring the white race, and that the white race is supreme over all other races. And so, that's really ratcheting it up. The idea that this man, the President Trump, who's just, he's employed more people of color than any of these candidates combined in his businesses. And he's got just a terrific reputation with the black community, and he enjoys sports and music and urban music. You see his relationship with Kanye West and other people. There's no hint of racism there in this man. But this idea that these candidates just can't contain themselves, and now what's made it a little bit of a political predicament for the president is, rightly so, a lot of people expect him to be kind of consoler in chief this week, and so he's probably kept his powder dry. You know how he likes to counterpunch. And so I'm sure he's just said, you know what, this is about Dayton this week. This is about El Paso. This is about the victims and the families. Let's go visit them. Let's go console. And so the media has turned to the Democrat presidential field and said, have at it. Because he's not going to respond to you this week. What's the most awful thing you can say? And now, these guys are just trying to out left wing each other, and out comes the white supremacy tag by Beto and Elizabeth Warren. It's the kind of thing that they're just not going to win a presidential election this way, and folks are going to start tuning them out if they haven't already. Beto polls at 0% nationally, 0. I don't even know why he's being talked to at all, other than he's the former representative of El Paso. If this didn't happen in El Paso, nobody would be paying attention to him. So he's a couple months away from exiting the race as it stands.
All right, David Bozell, we always appreciate you. ForAmerica.org, brother. Hope to see you in Idaho soon.
Absolutely, Kevin. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you. All right. With reaction, Jim in Meridian with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. AOC, the Puerto Rican New York City bartender / congresswoman, also known as Occasional Cortex. Some people call her all out crazy. Anyway, she went in for an IQ test, and she got good news. The results were negative.
That was a good one.
I wanted to comment on the every time these Democratic communists come up with gun control after these crimes nationwide, why don't we meaning the deplorables and the patriots and your listeners and NRA members and the rest of us, why don't we start lobbying for national concealed carry as the reaction to that, as the counterpoint? In other words, if you have
the media, and Jim, you're right about this. The media focuses in on the negative. Why aren't we talking about the law enforcement? Why aren't we talking about the people that put their lives on the line each and every day to keep us safe, as opposed to, I'm going to take away your right to protect yourself?
It's time we had it. And in other words, if you had a concealed carry in Idaho, that ought to be recognized when you travel to Texas or some other state. Colorado, it ought to be recognized. In New York, you could protect yourself and your family there as well. We ought to have national concealed carry.
Well, maybe the president should recommend that as opposed to the red flag laws. I don't think that that's going anywhere. Let's face it, there is no movement in Congress to make that happen.
But this could be a point to raise and get some more media attention on every time. The Democrats are going to raise gun control every single time they're raising that. And we ought to have our position papers ready, too. I really would like to see national concealed carry. It would be helpful on a personal level.
Agreed. We can't be afraid to stick up for ourselves. Jim and Meridian, thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. Coming up next, one presidential candidate, a liberal, goes toe-to-toe with our own Sean Hannity, plus the idea of red flag laws. Look, people are going to say things to get through this crisis. There is no will in the United States Congress, particularly the Senate, to make that happen. Maybe with the Democrats in the House, but a red flag is going to protect you from the bad people. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Well, we wonder what Michael Jackson's doing right now.
Do we?
We do. Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Last night, Bill de Blasio, that's right, the liberal mayor of New York, was on with our own Sean Hannity, going back and forth, and he tried to give Sean a hard time. It's great when we have engagement. Let's take a listen now here on KIDO Talk Radio.
Do you support walls on our border?
I support border security, but not walls.
No walls.
I don't think we need additional walls because, look, there's 11 million people here right now, Sean. This is
more.
Maybe, but this is what I don't get about the whole discussion bluntly on this network and a lot of other places. 11 million people are here. They've been here for decades. This is the biggest don't ask, don't tell in American history. Why are we allowing ourselves to be divided by as a people when, in fact, this already happened?
Okay, how are you going to protect?
There's no invasion. There's people here already who are part of our community.
There you have it, Mayor de Blasio saying there's no invasion, although ICE arrested over 680 people in Mississippi yesterday. And how does the media cover it? Well, they're showing the families that are broken up, the children that are left behind because the daddy and or the mommy is now going to prison, going to be deported. Let me amend that statement. And look, no one likes to see that. On the other hand, you have people in construction sites, whether it's here in Idaho or across the country. You have people here undocumented taking jobs from Americans. How are we going to support ourselves if our jobs are being outsourced internally?
If you don't have the wall, how are you going to stop them?
People get in with a wall, without a wall. That's not how you do it. What you do is you create an actual border security mechanism. You have every tool you need, and you create a reality in our communities.
All across the border. No wall.
In our communities where police and community are working together. In this city, we have 170 crimes that if someone's convicted of them, they're undocumented, they're out of here.
Okay,
and
but
we
you
work
do
with
allow
communities to make sure we find people who have done things that are inappropriate.
You know, just once I wish Fox would edit these cuts that are more favorable to our friend, the great American Sean Hannity. 580-5436, 580-KIDO, traffic and weather together. Our time is 8:26 on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave. And I'm Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let me just tell you a story about common sense. Common sense. We have a lot of excuses why we act inappropriately. Big ups to people that have patience, especially in this incredible heat. We always salute the people that are working in this heat. Most of us are sissies. I say that with respect. Kevin, how can you call someone respectfully a sissy? I'll call myself a sissy. You know, you go from one air conditioning place to your air conditioned car, to your air conditioned work, back to your air conditioned home. Big ups to the HVAC people, big ups to the delivery folks, to the construction workers, to the road repair folks. Nobody likes to see the chip seal people, right? But thank you for having patience. Thank you for having restraint. Thank you for de-escalating situations. I only wish that somebody would have had enough common sense to de-escalate a situation recently in Montana, where a Montana man is facing assault charges after allegedly injuring a 13-year-old boy for not removing his hat during the national anthem. So they were at a county fair and rodeo. A 39-year-old, his name Charles Brockway, does anybody know him? Slammed the boy to the ground, fracturing his skull. He then told bystanders the victim was disrespecting the national anthem. Authorities say Brockway was already on probation for a previous assault charge with a deadly weapon. The boy was flown to a hospital and has been released. Look, people say there's more to the story. Why in the world would you touch somebody else's kid? Why in the world would you slam somebody? You can't do these things. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe this guy needs help. But my message to you is when a situation seems to be escalating, just peace out. For instance, maybe you're at Walmart. Maybe you're looking for popsicles. I know this story is ridiculous, but I hope it makes you laugh. And all of a sudden, they're out of popsicles, your brand of popsicles. So you go to the attendant, you say, hey, attendant, can you get me the popsicles? And they look at you and say, nope, we're out. Now, you can escalate the situation. You can yell and scream. It's not going to make it better. Or you can just go to another place. Why not de-escalate a situation? More on that in a minute. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. Okay, coming up, more of your phone calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Don't forget, before Dave Ramsey, it is Glenn Beck, and you can always get Glenn anytime on the KIDO Talk Radio app. free at the App Store and Google Play. Just another service that we provide for you here at Town Square Media. And, we're getting ready for the Spirit of Boise Balloon Classic. That's this month. We're also excited about that. And just the fact of getting together, right? It was odd the other day. I was looking at the Joe Biden fundraiser video, the fundraiser where you have people from all sorts of areas coming to visit Joe Biden at the Oppenheimer home. And I saw, what was it, Firefighters for Beater, right? Firefighters for Beater. You have people getting ready for the mayor's race in Boise, in Meridian. And again, we'll take your calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But I'm thinking to myself, it's a nonpartisan election. It's a nonpartisan issue when we're talking about who's going to be the next mayor of Boise. But you have the firefighters already rolling right along. Quickly to the publisher of the Gem State Patriot, Tea Party Bob. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
Good. You can always move around your time when you call in, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It's almost like you have a scheduled time slot here.
I guess I'm going to have to kind of shoot for a little earlier because I've got a lot of things to do during the day. I wanted to thank colleagues for opening the door to the conversation on the Council for Foreign Relations. And I urge anyone interested in reading more about the secrets of organization to read the book. If you go to Wikipedia and take a look at the list of the members of this organization, most of these people are people who have been involved in trying to bring Trump down and fighting against his policies. They are the elitists, the elite of the world. If you want to know who the proponents of globalization are, you only have to look at this list. We've written articles on this in the past. I think everybody should do a little bit of homework on the subject. Just a few things to say about the shootings and bring out the fact that I believe that social media has a large part to play in the state of mind for those who are doing these shootings. And if we go back and look at the people who have been involved in the shootings, we will see that most of them have been very involved in hateful comments on places like Facebook and Twitter. And they've posted their so-called manifestos on these social media entities. I will also point out that if you go back and look at the number of shootings that have taken place over the last 2 decades, you're going to find that as social media has expanded, so have the number of the shootings. These venues have been given the shooters an audience that they could not buy if they had the money. And through social media, these killers can reach millions of people in a matter of seconds, even faster than the regular news. So that is not to say that the news media is not partially responsible for the increase in the shootings, because there have been studies done on this topic pointing out the fact that the more coverage that these shootings get, the more we will see copycats coming out of the woodwork. The same people who hate this president are the ones who have been instrumental in promoting these killing machines while blaming all of these events on guns, which are the tools for the killing. They never talk about how they themselves might be the ones who inadvertently have been the promoters through their coverage of these terrible massacres. I don't have much else to say, but I will tell you the traffic is getting horrendous down in the valley. Every time I go down, it's worse.
Well, maybe you should stop by and see us sometime.
I'm going to have to do that. I may be down on Friday if you're going to be around.
Well, I'm around in the shape of a bell pepper. Thank you.
You have a great day, my friend.
And you, sir. Take care, Bob.
Take care.
Our great friend, Tea Party Bob. By the way, this story has a lot of people wondering if this could happen in Idaho.
Make up the largest workplace immigration sting in at least a decade, possibly the largest ever for a single state. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials say it was planned months ago. 600 ICE agents raided the plants, creating a perimeter to keep workers from fleeing, and those arrested were taken to a military hangar to be processed for immigration violations. Workers who could show they were in the country legally were allowed to leave after their vehicles were searched. ICE Acting Director Matthew Albence says the 5 companies that own the plants could be charged with knowingly hiring undocumented workers. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Well, and you want to stop the major problems in America, E-Verify for all workers and drug testing for all workers as well. More on that in a minute. Back to your phone calls at 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Tom in Nampa joins us on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Kevin. You guys talked about the 4 dead and 2 wounded in Los Angeles this morning?
We have. We noticed that no one has called for an end to knives yet.
Not yet. I mean, we maybe have to do the same thing they did in London, and that's been so effective. I'm just wondering, when is it going to make the national news, I mean? You think it will?
No, I think the national media and the local media, they have an agenda, especially the folks in the print media locally. They have an agenda to take down the Republicans, to vilify the conservatives. And that's a reason why you have these publications begging for people to subscribe. And, sometimes some of them do a good job, but I'm not going to pay for the libs. I'm not going to pay for the liberals that don't cover the real news, that promote taking away our guns, that have a liberal agenda. Tom, are you a big fan of Twitter at all?
I don't twit.
Okay.
I am not a twit.
I will say this, and I'm not I think Twitter is one of the most self-indulgent platforms around, but the media here locally, that's where it's kind of like their little secret little cesspool, and they give us their real political views. And I saw one major person ripping the president, and this is a person that's supposed to be objective, and I'm going, you're ripping the president and you're doing so proudly? Well, you're a lib. You should just go on your platform, and we won't say whether it's television or radio, just say, look, I'm a lib and I hate President Trump. Now, that is your right to do it, but please don't tell me you're an objective reporter. This person does a really good job outside of politics, but they're all libs, and they all proudly talk about being liberal or how great they are. You get the real insight into these people, and that's what they are. Now, if there are any people in journalism or TV listening to this program, they're exempt because they're tuning into the real news. But everybody else, it's shocking. I pointed out to my coworkers, they go, well, someone can have a personal opinion. I go, not if you have that platform and that responsibility, but this is what we're up against.
Hearing you say that, it's like I am shocked to find gambling going on here.
Well,
if you're old enough to get the reference.
Right. Well, and the same people will give a ton of time to the libs in their rallies, and when the conservatives or the gun people are there, they ignore them.
Or attack them.
Right. Look, and they pick their favorites, and they all go out drinking together. And you see it on this stupid tweeting platform. And that's just how it is. We choose not to play that game.
The thing that really torques me is that news people will make statements of fact about firearms laws that are simply wrong. And, I mean, don't these people have a research staff? Or can't they operate, Google for 3 minutes to find out what the law actually says? I mean...
Well, look, Tom, the laws don't matter. You have DACA that is unconstitutional. The Constitutional Attorney Community Activist, former president, it said so, but he said he's going to let it roll anyway. You have the Supreme Court. Obamacare is unconstitutional, but we're not going to get political. We're going to let it roll anyway.
Well, look at our former Attorney General Eric Holder, 2 Black Panthers in their combat chic 1960s vintage, standing outside the polling booth with sticks, shouting at persons of European ancestry, racial slurs, and the Attorney General says, I got to stand with my peeps. Excuse me? Take that same scenario, reverse the color scheme. If you had a couple of guys in white sheets and hoods with sticks doing that, oh, good Lord. The media storm would be a Cat 5 in about 30 seconds.
Tom, great point. Thank you for the call. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And look, we're talking about this stabbing that happened in Orange County, California. In addition to this massive raid that the ICE folks came into Mississippi, 683 illegals detained will be sent home, and the media focusing in on the families that are disrupted.
Multiple robberies. We have at least 4 victims that are deceased. This is a heinous act. It's unfortunate that 4 people lost their lives.
4 people lost their lives in Orange County. We'll get back to that. If you want to comment, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Thinking about this story, though, you have the media calling for disarming America. So this guy comes up and stabs people. That's the great thing about having a gun. It doesn't matter how big the opponent is that's coming up against you. You have an equalizer, right? You have the means to protect yourself. Of course, that's not the media narrative, right? Our friend Greg Pruitt, we love him. Known Greg for many, many years. The precursor to the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, he and Seth, and a lot of patriots going outside the Boise Gun Company, getting petitions that were ignored by our state officials. This event continues, this organization continues to grow and to grow and to grow. Went to the state fair in Canyon County. Now it's getting a lot of attention. We talked about it when it happened. And saying, hey, man, I have state law. I can carry guns. No, you can't. Well, yes, you can. Now you've got the Western Idaho Fair saying, yes, you can bring your guns in. And it's, again, Greg's getting a lot of attention now, but how dedicated are those folks to allow us to protect ourselves? Not only are we talking about conceal carry and carry on college campuses that happen thanks to a lot of great lawmakers, you're also talking about conceal carry without a permit in the state of Idaho. Try doing that in Oregon. Try doing that in California. Try doing that in any other part of the country. And then you have Greg Pruitt and the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance going to towns across the state where they'd say no guns allowed. That's illegal. And getting those signs taken out. That's the type of activism it takes. And that's what the headwinds, anyone who tries to pass a national red flag law is going to face. First of all, it's unconstitutional because it violates due process. Now, how many people, and maybe the NRA will do this in Oregon, will start challenging these things? Now, wouldn't it be nice? And if you're a parent, I'm not a parent, will never be a parent. That's why I kind of like an athletic supporter, insert your joke here, you can laugh if you will, but a parental supporter, a parent who, would like their child, would like your child never to have to face wrongdoing, could wave a magic wand, all your peer pain, fears, anxiety would be taken away, right? That's what you wish for your kid and your kid's kid and their kid's kids and all that. But that doesn't happen. And yet we have the purveyors of the nanny state, i.e. AOC, i.e. Omar, i.e. all these other folks, Bernie, saying we need to do something about it. Okay, what's your solution? More laws. We have thousands of laws on the books right now. Thousands of laws on the books concerning guns. Hasn't really stopped anything. Blessed are the caregivers. Blessed are the people that use restraint, which we've talked about, right? Blessed are the people that don't antagonize people in traffic in the Treasure Valley, the people that work on the roads, the chip sealing. I imagine if you're actually doing the chip sealing, you have to wear glasses to protect yourself from the chips actually hitting you. De-escalating situations like our great men and women in law enforcement do. Pro-Life joins us now, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pro-Life.
Yeah, local politics really needs a real shot in the arm from the conservative people.
According to you, every politics needs a shot in the arm.
Yeah, and we need to be activists. And now I think in the Boise mayoral race, there is not a real conservative right now, and hopefully somebody will jump in there. And so I'm encouraging somebody to get in there. I mean, what do we have? We have till November. That's enough time. I don't know.
Don't you have to get your name on the ballot? You have to qualify?
Yeah, but I don't even think they file until this month sometime. I think the filing deadline is, maybe it's September something.
That's a very good point. How many people would donate $5, $10, $20 for a conservative to run as mayor of the city of Boise?
Well, I would.
But, I mean, you've got 2 libs going at it, maybe 3 libs going at it. I don't know. The libs are all the same.
Right.
And maybe you have somebody consolidate the conservative vote and just for once send a message that high taxation without representation is over in the city of Boise. By the way, what was going on? Oh, that's right. Biden was in town. There he was, the mayor of the ribbon cutting, Mayor Dave Beater. There he was again, has not met a ribbon cutting that he doesn't like. He's there along with the firefighters for Beater, and I'm thinking, wow, yeah, I guess the firefighters have a right to do that, but talk about politicizing a nonpartisan position.
Well, no, I think that it will happen, and hopefully I'm going to give $5 or $10.
Well, we got to find somebody first. Maybe we should recruit somebody.
Maybe it ought to. No, you don't live in Boise.
No, I'm saying I understand that, but what I'm saying is maybe we say, look, if you're a conservative, we'll support you. In fact, Mayor Beater, he never has come on the show. I remember I've seen Mayor Beater like twice. I literally, and you know me, I'm a fatty, right. So I literally had to jog to catch him to get my picture taken with him because he saw me and ran the other way. And it's not that I'm a tough guy. Look, the mayor doesn't do uncomfortable, I guess. And then the other time he was serving food at the rescue mission thing and, didn't say hi, and I'm good. I didn't say hi. It's just an uncomfortable situation. And unlike Mayor de Blasio that will go on with Sean Hannity, we have Mayor Beater that, he has his preferred liberal media outlets, and that's his choice.
Yep.
And, so maybe our choice is to ask someone to run for mayor and, we could offer equal time because the mayor won't come on and see if we can make a difference.
Well, I think that a conservative can win because, you take 2 or 3 liberals, they'll spread out
wouldn't
the liberal vote.
that scare the libs?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be the greatest thing that could happen here for
Sure.
Boise.
Well, Boise needs to be saved, right?
Yeah, it does. I want to say something about Albertsons. I think Albertsons isn't too bright by going against the baker.
Yeah. Granny C's or what have you.
Right, and I don't know what their parent company, maybe it's Kroger or somebody, but they're in with one of the big grocery chains of the United States. Maybe that big grocery chain is telling them, listen, support liberal causes.
Look, and we talked a little bit about this in the 6 o'clock hour, and the deal is it's a bad call at the line of scrimmage that removes a lot of great work and continued great work that Albertsons does. Somebody should just say, look, we need this thing to go away because we're not going to win this. We need to just back down. And how many times in life, if somebody had just backed down, things would be better off?
Yeah. But take this, for example. Albertsons supports the Gay Pride Week.
I'm with you. Now, I've got to apologize. I'm running out of time, and I got more people to go to. We'll get back to you and the gays and probably tomorrow. Does that work for you?
Yeah, but it's not smart.
Right. Always call in earlier if you want more time.
Okay, I'll call in at 6, and you can give me till 7. How's that?
Well, it'll be a gay parade. Thank you, Pro-Life. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Axe, go.
Mayor Beater is not a friend of the firemen. He is not a friend of the police department. He is a friend of himself and special interests. We need a conservative to push him out so he can move to California where he's going to be a whole lot more comfortable than he is here among real Americans. I've said my piece.
Thank you, Max. Victor, go.
Yeah, I want to say I support a conservative in the mayor office also. So I'd love to see that.
Well, someone out there listening right now, Victor, it's an opportunity, right?
Yes.
All right. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio.
Thank you.
Thank you. The people have spoken. Will someone step up? If you're interested in running, give me a call, or better yet, email Kevin at KIDOTalkRadio.com. Ray, my outstanding job as always. God bless everyone. Keep the faith. Stay tuned. Glenn Beck is next.